Muchísimas gracias, Sergio. Siempre un placer escucharte. Una de las mayores dificultades para pasar de un vehículo de gasolina o diésel a un vehículo eléctrico es el temor a quedarse sin electricidad por no hallar un punto de carga. Vamos a escuchar ahora a Alejandro Criado, responsable de preventa a Wallbox. Wallbox es una empresa española que fabrica sistemas de carga en el mundo entero. Alejandro es ingeniero químico e industrial y tiene más de 15 años de experiencia en su campo.
Hello, everyone. This is Alejandro Criado. I'm working here at Wallbox. It's a company that I would like to introduce for you and try to explain a bit how it's going in this business, and also some specific information that will be maybe really important for a fleet. So let's start with the company, and then step by step moving to that more specific concept of the charging. Let me share my screen. Go here. Okay. So I'm gonna put it in here. How everyone is seeing now. Well, Wallbox. Before I explain a bit more that actually how is the market, we're going to go through how it's going in comparison to the market. So mostly, as you see all these numbers, we are growing 3 times higher than the average in the market. So every year we are getting more ratio of the charges sold in every country. So that's making a great position for getting experience and also having our brand like reliable on the market, like everyone is starting to like it so much and makes us more opportunities. Just at a glance, Wallbox has been sold more than 200,000 chargers already, and we have more than 16 offices around the world, and now we have like more than 10 million charging sessions so far. We have plenty of design awards, and we are here in around the world, placed in different kind of I would say partnership. Those that you see light green, it's those that we have partners. Those that middle green, it's those that we have offices, and those are dark green, those that we have manufacturing. Here we have the main offices we have around like in factories, engineering and factories, and we are now open the new one in Texas. And here, one of the few offices we have around the world. This is a vision of Enrique Asunción, excuse me, and Eduard Castañeda, that they start this business being just 4 people, and now we are more than 1,200 people. We are in public here in Wall Street since last year, and the average of the people, I would say that's increasing leveling every year. So now we are at this moment that we end the year with almost 800 people working at Wallbox. We are more than 1,200 now and increasing, and we have to be 2,000 at the end of the year. And plenty of nationalities different. And you see this part, it's the part of engineering. So we produce automatic and we engineer everything to be automatic. So this is value that have to double also in this year. We're going to be around 600 engineers. So this a huge increasement of people that we are developing what is going to be in the future. We are delivering many customers around the world, and let's go to the chargers. So to make sense, also good for the fleet. I will explain what. So what makes us different from the others? It's our chargers always are very compact, really one. They are all of them are smart. Even with the new product we have, we design our own chips. So we are not part of the assembly line. We are actually designing these chips here at Wallbox, and it's the new products are coming this year are going with this chip, and makes that something nice. I think that we just don't buy an assembly. We also design, manufacturing, and also placing the product not just in China, maybe here actually. They are durable, so all they are moving to at least AK10. There is just one unit that is not still AK10, so soon it's going to be all of them, and all of them are all CVP, and also our software. That's my Wallbox. I think it could help in this fleet concept. All of them are easy to use, and we have all of them connected through Wi-Fi and Bluetooth at least, and from that, we will kind of have also Ethernet or Fuji. So from the this is this charger that could work perfectly. All that I said before is working here. Is up to 22 kilowatts, and then we have to this charger that I showed before. We put a screen, and I put an RFID. I put Ethernet and 4G. I got Commander 2. So it's also up to 22 kilowatts, and maybe would be much nicer for fleets because of the reading options. But what happened if to this product I remove the screen and I remove the cable? That's a threaded cable. Well, we got the copper USB. That's the same as before, but removed all the cable and the screen. That is more like, for instance, when you want to install in a place where you don't have like someone that controls the access and someone could potentially damage, then it's good to install this kind of charger. Or also, more in South America, when you don't know you have a GBT or type 1 or type 2. In that case, it's perfect because you just will plug the cable and will work with seamlessly, with no problem at all. Here in Europe, for example, and I'm now based here, we have all our chargers are type 2 now. So just the only reason to have it is just because you don't want that someone would damage this part of the charger. This is the one to make a special mention. It's our bidirectional charger. It's up to 7.4 kilowatts, and we are able with the cars to discharge the battery to, power our house or our building. Actually, I will show you shortly what is capable of Wallbox from that thing. It's amazing that the design is just 17 kilos, really small, and it's really intuitive. Now this is the version 1, and then next year we've released the next version, Squater 2. That's breakthrough on everything you could imagine. That's our fast charging. That would, for example, maybe really cute, really nice to have it. For example, when you want to charge really fast. So in 1 hour, you want to have your fleet charge for something that you would have to move in that moment, the last mile. So it would be the right product to have it because you just charge in 60 minutes full battery. Otherwise, the other versions will have to get more time because they have less power. This is up to 60 kilowatts. This is will launch next year. It's 350 kilowatts. And here is some of the pedestals that could maybe be beaten on the street for all the charges. We have measures in direct and indirect, accessories, and our software. That's the more important thing. So here, what would manage all our chargers? That's the brain, I would say, of our hardware. It's options to manage fleets, multifamily workplaces with our software that's works for example, dynamic load balancing or peak shaving or even EcoSmart that we are integrated with solar. Or you can do with like Electromaps. That's our public OCPP version of a manager of your chargers, the CPO. Pay per charge, pay per month. I will work deeply on this. Mostly what I would say pay per month, it's when you want to have everyone charge the car and they have to pay at the end of the month, it will remove the money from the customer at the end of the month with all the amount of charge has been. And then it would put the money back to the person that pays the energy. In this case, will be a CPO. We are covered with many of those. Just to say, what is the solution here? So, okay, imagine that you have a house that you have a limited of the power, you cannot overpass that thing. For example, we have it so much in the Dominican Republic that you cannot pass 10 kilowatts because although you overpass that thing, you're going to pay a lot. You want to be over that. You install your charger with our solution of peak shaving and you will never pass the limit. So you will not pass the limit of the power, will increase a lot of money. For example, in Netherlands, you cannot power pass 25 amps because you pass over 25 amps of consumption. You will have to get a new contract that's more expensive. So every country has difference, but at the end it's like peak shaving, like not overpass a limit, even if I charge the car at the maximum. And of course, automatic. We call it, I think, power boost. So if to that solution I explained before, I installed solar panels, then I got solar for solar integration, when I never pass the limits of the solar. And also we can have a B2G, video home solution that will power, as I said before, our solution with our car. What about now? It's more for the business and for the fleets. That's the most important. So I have a limitation of power, but I had to connect many chargers at the same time. So the best thing we do is more like democratic. So we limit with the app one of the chargers that is the master, because all our chargers are intelligent. So it has the power to control up to 25 charges at the same time. So you limit the power. For example, I would say like 100 kilowatts, and you don't want to overpass because maybe you don't have enough cables for do it, because they are the thickness of them are not enough with enough diameter, or maybe you have, for example, the limitation of the transformer. So you limit here what is your limit, and then you just share all the power with is connected. For example, I have 16 amps for one charger and can connect another charger. It will split those 16 amps between two. It will be 8. And if I do it, for example, for one other car, it will be by 3. So always this limit. And if something fails, for example, this charger that's control of the others fails, doesn't matter, because at the end, what happened is that it will make it in error mode and still get charged for the limit. So that's why when you always plan all your fleet with the power sharing with that, you have to always be certain that you at least can provide 6 amps for every charger. That's the limit, for the minimum one. That's really important to do it. That's how you plan always all the installations. What if, for example, I, come to the other version I have before, that's this thing, and I zoom into this load balancing. Then I got dynamic load balancing that readings all the facility I have, for example, a factory, and then you will all these things sharing between the power it's left for the building. The building has a limitation. So if you connect, for example, lights, I don't know, a pump or elevator, you consume energy. So the power will decrease, and you will share that decreased power that's available, share for others, and up to 25 charges. And if you do 3-phase, will be that one. If you want to do single phase, will be up to 75. That's a lot of that. That's a good, and I think it's a good experience for fleets that you have a limitation of power. Now I'm going to show you what is Project Series, something that we have here in Wallbox, and no one else have it. And I'm proud of this because it's a lot of engineers working for this project. Let me share this part of the project and real time. Now it's in that moment. Here we have it in our solution. Here, just a second, and it's here. Here now in real time, you are checking what's happening in Wallbox. So now our 97% of the power is coming from the solar. Now we have, for example, something connected, and we have you have this drop to 88%. So here in Wallbox, we have a limitation. We have a building when we don't have enough power. It's 175 kilowatts. But sometimes we have peaks here. Now it's Friday, and we don't have enough power for all the facility. Just for a short time. But normally, for example, on a Monday, we have a peak of energy because we have to warm up all the building. So the power will come here really huge here, really hot demand. So what we do is we have here 21 Nissan Leaf, and all this Nissan Leaf, we're going to provide energy. So that's the charger we have here with cars, and they will connect this energy. So at the night time that the energy costs less, you will charge with the quasar. Like you get from the grid, and in the daytime when you need like a peak of power, you will provide that energy from here with the our quasars here. That's amazing, this project, and it's something that you are having a project in that with you need like Nissan Leaf and provided this thing. Well, please talk with us because we're really happy to work with the solution. And we have integrated with solar. We have integrated also with batteries, stationary battery, and all the cars. That's an amazing project. Now we're gonna go back to the line. This is 1 second, and I have this thing. Okay, so for instance, to understand how it works a fleet, I want to show you this one. To understand how it's the daily needs at in a fleet. So not all the fleets are equal. Some of them they have, for example, taxis. So usually the average of daily use is 250, 350 kilometers. But if you have a fleet for example, just your employees, the average is 55 kilometers. What if you have a van that you're gonna, do like some transports? Then your vans are gonna get more kilometers, 80 kilometers. What about if you have a truck? Then it's below 3.5 tons. 70 kilometers is the average. With those numbers, you have to understand your customer and talk with them like, what are your requirements, no? So what happened with that? So depends on that, and the time is gonna be the charger charging. You will have to provide the power for that. So you don't need a lot of power to charge in 1 hour all your cars. It's gonna be all the night maybe charging, or maybe you're gonna be all your employees all the day in the office. So for that reason, we have here in Wallbox check more than 150,000 cases. We make it automatic, of course, and we make a pattern, no? What is got to be used for that? So in the public would say that you always have to provide it if they're gonna be just for your employees, these numbers. So if you have, for example, fast food delivering, you will need at least in 30 minutes to provide 22 kilowatts. What if, for example, you have a supermarket? Well, 11 kilowatts is enough. What is a restaurant? Well, 7.4. What is a mall? What is a short-term parking? And what's a hospital or factory? For example, fleets will be working on here, and will fleets is 1.8 kilowatts just for the minimum. For your employees would be enough. I know the different voltage in South America, but let's keep it in mind that everything is up to the requirements of provide 50 kilometers. What about if I want to have it, for example, all the night, all the day working for more, like for example, deliverings. Delivering would need 8 hours of charging, so you have to provide 4.8 kilowatts. What if it's going to be long time parking or less power? So all these things is always really required. You provided the power, you divide the kilometers. Usually it's 20 kilowatts hour by 100 kilometers. So you divide the kilometers by that value, and then what you make it is divided by the power of the charger, and then you have it. You have that power that you have to provide. Like just making the cables to provide that power, it's enough. So what are our solutions working on that? What we have the load balancing managing that it will provide the power, sharing with all of them. We have also important that maybe in your country you will charge at night and it costs less money. So that's important to make a scheduling. We have in all our charges scheduling, in all our power charges, we have load balancing. If you don't have a limitation, I would say, of at the mains, that sometimes you have peak of power, they will have dynamic load balancing. Usually you have to do it when those peaks are affecting more than 10% of the power. So if you have like those peaks not going more than 10% of the time, you will not need it, but if not, go for that. And from that also I can show you also another part that would be how you can control our with maybe our charges input, how you identify, for example, your customers, in this case, or your employees, or whoever is needed. Well, so if we have a complete fleet, I will provide you that the most important thing is to have, I would say, power sharing and dynamic load balancing charges, or that they have maybe the charge to have internet. So all our charges have internet, and you can check remotely how they are charging or not, and also how they identify. You can identify them by PIN or RFID. That's the most faster way. So power sharing, we go say our charges. The matching of DB, I would say you would go or rather go for Ethernet cable, and for our charges for unload the charges for the employees, I would say is that the solution is, I would say, power our Pulsar Plus. What if I want to check for fleets? The best things in sense of not a fleet like for employees, a fleets for my users, like delivery or last mile. The best is go by PIN. Like they go right for charges, they just put the PIN, identify themselves with that, and then you put the cable. Or maybe they can do, for example, with RFID. For example, that's the case. So I would say that's a summary of what we can do. Or you can send me any email, I would say, and I would always try to give you a suggestion for your fleet. The thing is that you have a partner here, and here is having a bit like short description, but keeping in mind that there's plenty of information that we can provide it. And please, you just target your customer, ask with them, talk with them, what is the requirements. They always tell they want to do it fast possible, but it's not needed because more power requires more money for the installation. Usually the installation costs doubling than the chargers, usually even 3 times. So you have to reduce as much as possible the cables, the protections, and also the power that you have to, hire, or I would say hire, as for the utility. That's the most important. You have to reduce at the maximum possible. So don't get to the maximum as well, because even with that is important. I would say mentioned before, most of the 95% of the cars in the market, they're charging in 3-phase at 11 kilowatts as maximum. So the 5% left is just very, very few units. So maybe you don't need 22 kilowatts. Just with 11 kilowatts is enough. It's another point to get in an account. Okay, that's it up to now. I just want to thank you for the time being here in the webinar, and have fun here. And any question? Yes, Slack me. I'm Alejandro Criado, and here in Wallbox in Barcelona to cover you any needs. Thank you and have a good day.